was hard. Sonequa Martin Green opens up about playing Star Trek Discovery Season 1 Burnham. Sonequa Martin Green opens up about how hard it was to play the Season 1 version of Michael Burnham again in Star Trek Discovery Season 5. Captain Michael Burnham came face to face and even fought her past self in the time travel-centric Star Trek Discovery Season 5 Episode 4, Face the Strange, which was written by Sean Cochran and directed by Lee Rose. Past and future Burnham meeting each other hammered home to Michael and to the audience just how far she has come in Star Trek Discovery's 5 seasons. Screen Rant was at STLV, Trek to Vegas, when Sonequa Martin Green elaborated on how hard it was to play Star Trek Discovery Season 1's Michael Burnham again in her panel with David Ajala. Answering a fan question, Martin Green explained what it was like for her to experience the hopelessness the younger Burnham felt again. But Sonequa also called playing the two Burnhams phenomenal and a big gift. Read Sonequa's quote and watch the video below. It was hard, and I wasn't expecting it to be. I was really excited about it. I know it was gonna be fun. Just the idea of coming face to face with your past that way. It really hit me as well. Like reading the script as Burnham, whoa, I really have grown so much. And what a gift to be able to show that growth. Ought a big Upus the writers for that. But it's just like what Burnham says. I forgot how hopeless this time was. That's how it felt for me too. Stepping back into a place of hopelessness. Stepping back into a place of complete insecurity. I was like, ooh, I don't want to be here no more. I came out of this. So it was challenging, but once I was there, it was phenomenal. What a time. It was a big gift that the show gave me. Michael Burnham changed throughout Star Trek Discovery. Captain Michael Burnham's Star Trek Discovery arc saw her battle back from disgrace to become perhaps the most important starship captain of the 32nd century. Star Trek Discovery Season 1's Michael Burnham was indeed a very different person who was repenting for her hubris that turned Michael into Starfleet's first mutineer. But Burnham found her best self and regained her status as commander at the end of Star Trek Discovery Season 1 before Michael became the center of the USS Discovery's found family and led them on a one-way trip 930 years into the future. Michael Burnham was made captain of the USS Discovery at the end of Star Trek Discovery Season 3, and she grew and changed with the burdens and challenges of Discovery's center seat. But Michael's relationship with Cleveland Booker also made her whole. While their love story was complicated, Burnham and Book realized they were each other's endgame. Star Trek Discovery series finale gave Michael Burnham a happy ending with Book as a wife and mother, as well as the rank of admiral, showing just how far Burnham has come. Sonequa Martin Green made history as the first black woman to lead a Star Trek series when she took on the role of Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery. The decision to cast a woman, and a black woman at that, in such a high-profile role was significant. Burnham, an enigmatic character trained as a Starfleet officer raised by Vulcans, became the heart of Discovery's storyline. The pressure to bring this character to life was immense, and for Martin Green, it was not just another acting role, it was a challenging, deeply personal journey. In several interviews, she has opened up about the intensity of playing Burnham, particularly in the show's first season, and how it tested her in ways she hadn't anticipated. Stepping into a legacy when Martin Green accepted the role of Michael Burnham, she stepped into one of the most beloved sci-fi universes in history. Star Trek is not just a TV show, it's a cultural phenomenon with a global fan base that's passionate, loyal, and deeply protective of the franchise's legacy. For decades, Star Trek had pushed the boundaries of social commentary, inclusivity, and diversity. From Nichelle Nichols' portrayal of Lieutenant Uhura in the original series to the first interracial kiss on American television, the franchise had a reputation for challenging societal norms. Martin Green knew the weight of what her role meant not just for her career, but for representation in the entertainment industry. It wasn't lost on her that Burnham's character had to balance being both an emblem of diversity and a fully realized, complex human being. It was hard, she admitted in multiple interviews when describing the filming of Season 1. Not only did I have to step into this world that has so much history, but I had to create a new kind of Starfleet officer. Michael Burnham's journey is not like anything we've seen before, and that responsibility was enormous. Burnham's complexity. Michael Burnham isn't your typical Starfleet officer, and that's what makes her stand out. Raised by Vulcans, Burnham is inherently human, but has spent much of her life learning to suppress her emotions in favor of logic. This inner conflict is a fundamental aspect of her character, and Martin Green embraced the challenge of portraying someone who's constantly at war with herself. It's not easy playing someone who's always in control yet falling apart at the same time, Martin Green explained. Burnham is brilliant and capable, but she's carrying this immense guilt and pain, especially in the first season, after her decision leads to the death of her captain and sparks a war. Burnham's arc in Season 1 is, in many ways, a redemption story. After being court-martialed and branded a mutineer, she struggles to find her place again in Starfleet. The weight of her choices and the consequences that follow are heavy, and Martin Green captured that emotional toll in her performance. Every scene seemed to reflect Burnham's internal struggle, her desire to do right by her crew while grappling with the stigma of her past. The weight of that guilt was something I carried throughout filming, Martin Green shared. I had to constantly remind myself that Burnham is someone who feels deeply but has been conditioned to suppress those feelings. Finding that balance was tough. A woman of color at the helm, one of the most significant aspects of Martin Green's casting was the visibility it gave to women of color in the sci-fi genre, a space that has often lacked diversity. Burnham wasn't just leading her crew, she was leading a new era of Star Trek, one that aimed to be more inclusive, bold, and willing to reflect the real world's diversity. I felt the pressure, of course, Martin Green said, but it was a good kind of pressure. I wanted to give everything I had to this role, not just for me, but for every woman and person of color watching. Playing Burnham came with its challenges, but it also came with an opportunity for Martin Green to make a significant impact. As Discovery gained momentum, Burnham became a role model for many, particularly women and young girls who hadn't seen themselves represented in Star Trek before. Navigating the fandom, in addition to the personal and professional challenges of playing Burnham, Martin Green also had to navigate the intense scrutiny that comes with starring in a Star Trek series. The fandom is known for its passion, and any changes to the established lore can lead to strong reactions. Season 1 of Discovery was no exception, with some fans initially resistant to the show's darker tone and serialized storytelling. Martin Green faced this head-on, acknowledging the fans' concerns, but also expressing her belief in the importance of Burnham's journey. "I knew there would be criticism," she said, "but I also knew that we were telling a story that was important. Burnham's journey in Season 1 is about breaking down and rebuilding, and that's something we all go through. It's human." The emotional toll. By the end of Season 1, Martin Green had been through an emotional roller coaster, both on and off screen. Playing Burnham had pushed her to new heights as an actor, forcing her to tap into reservoirs of vulnerability and strength she didn't know she had. "It was exhausting, honestly," she said, "but it was worth it. I've never been prouder of a character than I am of Michael Burnham." For Sonequa Martin Green, playing Burnham in Star Trek Discovery was more than just a career-defining role. It was a personal journey of growth, challenge, and ultimately triumph. The struggles of season may first have been hard, but they laid the groundwork for Burnham's evolution and Martin Green's own legacy within the Star Trek universe.